Okay, welcome to this video on how to be an alpha boss. Which, cue a bunch of comments in the comment section of LOL, this beta cuck thinks he's an alpha. By the way, I don't. I don't even think I'm a beta. I'm a man-child at best. Not even at best, that is definitively what I am. But I'm going to teach you how to be an alpha in between playing Forbidden Bridge. So, there's something that look, there's a billion videos on the net that talk about how to be an alpha, and I think that there's something true to all of them, with all the ones that are just like, what you have to do is stand up straight, get a tan, smile like this. And I think, to a degree, there is an element of truth to that, in that those are the body postures and power moves of alpha bosses that you see throughout the animal kingdom, all the way to the walrus. How good is this? No society is better than a walrus society for alpha bosses. The alpha boss sits on a beach with a harem of hundreds of female sea walruses. And then there's all these little beta cucks that stay on the edges of the periphery of the society looking on into it, being like, I wish I could fuck just one of them. And every now and then they sneak having sex with one of the many hundreds that he has. And the guy at the top is called Beachmaster. It's just him and David Hasselhoff. But look, there's some truth to it all, but I think that there's something that is overlooked in a lot of the alpha male videos that are on the net. Particularly the ones that are aimed at the 20 to 30 demographic, and then when you get a little bit older of those, what's it like to be a leader? I started up my own digital marketing strategy campaign, and it didn't work. I didn't get as many likes on Facebook as I wanted 15, I got 7. But those ones, I think, are actually more right in a bizarre way. Because I was watching a documentary recently, I can't even remember the name of it, but it was about chimps. And, God, this has just turned into the most Joe Rogan of videos, hasn't it? Without Joe Rogan being here, but we've got it all. Alpha males, chimps. Don't know what it's called. Google that shit, Jamie. But in it, they were discussing that there is this society of chimps that is 4 times the size of even the really large chimp population. So some of the chimp populations that are really big and successful have as many as 50 chimps. Woohoo. That's a really small dying town in rural New South Wales that no one gives a shit about. But that is basically the ancient Rome of chimps, or it was, until in the last 20 years, one of the chimp societies ballooned to 200 chimps. Now, there's a lot of varying factors for this. It's just, that obviously they're in a place that has a lot of easily accessible food, i.e. termites. Why do they like termites so much? It made their mouth feel spicy. It hot sauce. But another major reason for it is that the alpha male boss chimp is far more intelligent than the average male chimp that leads a pack. Now, the other thing that is interesting about this is that the alpha male in all of these societies usually is not the biggest. Sometimes the biggest comes over and beats the shit out of the weedy little nerd that is the alpha pimp boss. But he usually gets taken down very quickly, because what happens is the smartest chimp goes around and starts bonding with some of the other bigger males, and then they form this gang, and they're like, yeah, shake him, boys, and then they beat him up. And then he becomes alpha again, which is what happened in this chimp society, because they were talking over the span of 20 years or something along the lines of that. And so, what you're left with is the idea that the reason that this guy has been so successful in growing the chimp society is because he has a vision of a better society. And as a result, the other chimps trust him. He's always leading expeditions into other chimp territories and forcing them out, muscling out the other chimps so that they have access to their resources. Now, this is very odd for chimp societies. Sometimes they even just freely walk into other chimp societies because they're so big in numbers that they can just go in, take all the women and children to have a feed of their num-num mangoes or whatever they're eating, then they go back to theirs. Their society has expanded. Their chimp empire is, I think what they were saying, about 1/3 bigger than what it was originally. It was already a big chimp territory, and they've pushed into other chimp territories and expanded theirs by 1/3. Now, the reason that this has all happened is because he has been able to figure out that, if I give chimps, if I go out and kill a monkey and I don't eat it all to myself, or I don't even eat first, I give the other chimps a little bit of that meat, and then you just go like, you can have the head, which is horrific to watch. If you want to see something that will give you more nightmares than watching The Witch, watch a chimp eat a monkey's head. I should put a graphic warning at the beginning of it. I'm going to have to write to the BBC. But look, what they're left with is the idea that he is feeding the other chimps, and then obviously, he's eating a bit of it as well, but he's giving the monkey to the others, which forms a trust bond with him and the chimps. And what is very remarkable is that is a standard self-help line, which is leaders eat last. All the way to the animal kingdom, baby. It's amazing to see that it is proven with beings that are they dumber than us? They haven't destroyed the environment in the same way we have. Think about it that way. This self-help channel / postcard your mum sends. But there is some truth to it, obviously. That look, when you go out and do favors for other people, there is two things that is working there. First of all, there is a law of reciprocation, which is that, if you want to look at it really Machiavellian, when you do something for someone else, they feel indebted to you, and then they give you something back as a result. That's the mechanics of it. But the thing that I think is more, if we're looking at the higher being self as opposed to like, fucking hate it, I'm going to secretly fuck him over that way. If you look at it in a non-goblin-y way, the other thing that I think it does is it makes trust, in that there's a lot of CEOs now where the business model has changed a lot since the 1980s, where it used to be about trying to look after your company work members, and then as a result of that, they work harder, which is just common human sense, and then it just shifted to, you can just fire a lot of them, and then you can just quickly upshoot profits, but then after that, it just disintegrates and destroys. And it's a very short-term strategy. But the thing is, it erodes trust. And that is the thing that makes most corporations, if you read Jim Collins' good to great, the thing that makes them the best in their field is that there is a institution of trust, in that I'm not in this for me personally. I'm in this so that we can create something together and build something big and truly lasting. And then everybody gets inspired by that vision, right? So that is really what a leader, like an alpha boss, is when it comes to primates. It's different when it comes to sea walruses. I don't know why I keep saying sea walruses, as in land walruses. Do you mean cow? Why not? But, in the higher evolved primates, the reason that you're a leader is because in our society, it's obviously become a little more advanced in that you can have like a title that everyone goes like, yeah, I guess you're the Prime Minister, but you don't really feel like it. Like Scott Morrison, for instance, he just doesn't look like one. He looks like a deputy school principal that had always just been like, what's your name again? Matthew? I'm going to ring your parents. He looks like that. He doesn't hold the authority of that office, and it's because you can see from his actions of, working behind the backs of his fellow politicians to get himself into that position, that he just gives a fuck about himself. The thing that makes people want to follow you, the thing that makes you the alpha boss, is when you become a leader in your field. And how do you become a leader in your field? Well, as Paul Keating says, leadership is a combination of vision and competence. So what you have to do, first off, there is shortcuts to this, obviously. Like, if you watch any pickup video where they're just like, you can trick a chick into thinking you have a lot of money and status. And it's true, you can do that. But the thing is, you're still a piece of shit. Yeah, you might have had a one-night stand, mad. But at the end of the day, what actually happens is you have to become extremely competent in a field that you choose. And again, what I'm saying in all these things, that it keeps coming back to it, is if you focus on something bigger, what happens is that you start getting competent at that, because you're looking at something that's bigger than you and going, oh, I should be reaching for something in that field. I want to become a leader in that field. And as a result of becoming a leader in that field, you realize you have to work a lot. And because you have to work a lot, you start getting really good at it. And other people, because they don't want to work at it and they want the free ride, they don't. That is actually the difference between beta cucks and alphas in the animal kingdom. It's just that the alpha wanted it more. The alpha figured out how to get himself into that position. He was just constantly figuring about how to posture and how to get himself there. And he figured out that the best way to do it is to help other people achieve their goals first. And as a result, they're going to make him achieve his goal. And that's better for everyone, because as a result of that, he became a much smarter chimp than the rest of them. And because he became a much smarter chimp than the rest of them, he expanded the empire of that chimp colony. They're still at 200 chimps. That is phenomenal. What normally happens after 50 chimps is they break up. Even after 50 chimps, they just go, that's it, this can do it, and they freak out and divide into 25 each. He's got 4 times that. It's because in his own little chimp Caesar mind, the real life Planet of the Apes, he's figured out how to get a bigger vision and put it in the minds of those chimps. Because every time he's going out and going hunting, he's just going, there is food over there, better mangoes than we have. They go out, freak out the small little army of contingency that they have, and they just move all of the other women in there. Now, there's obviously a lot of factors that contributed to that, but it's a lot of good things happening at once for that chimp society. They're kind of like Australia. They're the lucky country, but instead of having some dunce like Scott Morrison heading, they've got a real boss. You know what I'm talking about, Bill Shorten. Right? So that's what I think when you think about what is an alpha male. Look, first of all, there's a huge myth about it. Yes, there's some truth to it, that you can change the way that you look at the world, and alpha males are just naturally more confident. I agree with all of that. But I think that the overarching thing that just makes you a natural alpha is really just the thing of getting very good at something, and as a result of getting very good at something, you realize, oh, the next step in this field, the way that would make this thing a better thing. So I don't know why they were always using it in gym college. Good to great, but a cigarette company was that they were just I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it. It's not proving it causes cancer. Look, the thing is, they realized that the next thing to do is obviously that they had to get entrustment with their workers. So they came out with, actually I don't even know if it was the cigarette one, it was a long time ago that I read it, but they basically came out and said, we're going to pay for your kids' college. To all of them. Some guy picked up his hand. Like, obviously, it's America, it's not here, so I was just like, you're gonna like fill out the HexJet papers for us? It's a big deal. You could go bankrupt. Even if you go bankrupt in the US, all your other debts are forgiven in the US, except for college. You're still gonna pay that one back. But there was one worker there that said, I've got 7 kids. You're saying you're gonna pay for all my kids to go to college? And they said, yes. And he broke down into tears. You know what happened? There was a union that came over there and tried to unionize the workers. They chased that union guy out. Now, obviously, as a huge proponent of the unions, I was mortified to hear that, but it shows that they don't even need unions. The company was looking after their people so well that they were looking after them better than a union was. Think about that. If you work for a company like that, surely you would be more productive. Surely you would want that company to succeed. That's the thing, it's just that everybody just goes like, when this company succeeds, then you get a raise. It doesn't work that way. Give the guy the raise first. Then he's going to be like, oh, okay, this company's actually sick. This boy's got my back. It's like how a gang works. And as a result of that, they're going to work harder for you. I think that's it. It's really what Paul Keating says. That is what an alpha is. And obviously, I'm always just going to be like, Keating was the biggest alpha ever because he totally slayed in Parliament. But he did. Go back and watch his quotes. So good. It's the only thing that I agree with hoity-toity cunts at the ABC on. They're just like, oh, Keating was savage. As my social media pointed out once, basically one of those grandmas that has a season pass to the Opera House. Oh, Keating, stop. But I think that is why he is remembered as such an iconic leader. He's pretty much the only leader that is remembered in the Australian psyche that both like the left and right, whatever that means. But it's true. Like you go to a bunch of other people that know about Australian politics and you talk about Keating. It's very rare that you find someone that's just like, shittest prime minister ever. Everybody always is just like, damn. And the reason is because he was extremely skilled. He worked very hard to get into that position. And as a result of working very hard to get into that position, he actually knew where the country should go. That is what a leader is. All right. That's my take home. First of all, you should be looking at chimps. And just because Joe Rogan's right about it, they're just fucking fascinating. They could rip your arms off. But the other thing is, I think really what truly creates an alpha is, look, I think it's just a buzzword for what is a leader. And what a leader is somebody who is extremely skilled and has a vision. All right, see ya. Thought I'd forget, didn't you? Well, I did. But make sure you like the video. Thank you.